Victoria and Lily were found in deplorable conditions. Their parents gone. Alone in the wilderness for at least 5 years.
Hey, Victoria.
How they survived is unexplainable.
I'm your daddy's brother. Remember Uncle Luke?
With a loving family environment, Victoria and Lily have a real chance at a normal life.
You sure about this?
Nope.
Mammy! That's the black version of this movie. Not yet made, but Leon and I are working on it. Because I know I know that when my mama dies, she's still gonna be coming back after me. Corey, you eat something today? Corey, you ain't going to New York again, are you? Hey, make sure you be careful up there, right? Hey, Corey, you wear your coat, got some clean drawers.
I know you ain't gonna marry that girl. She ain't nothing but a hoe.
Yeah, I know. Oh yeah.
I ain't trying to talk about nobody.
Whatever girl I marry, she better be prepared for my mama to keep coming back from the grave for her ass.
I know, keep coming through those goddamn walls.
Corey, why you marry this skinny bitch right here?
It's gonna be painting over that wall. I don't know how many times. Keep your
Let mama cook her something.
Picturing a see-through Aunt Jemima. That's actually very scary to me. I like pancakes.
That's actually what a black ghost would look like. Look like a bottle of Mrs. Butterworth. Wouldn't it? The black version of bottle of
I can
Mrs.
see that
Butterworth.
coming through the wall.
An empty bottle.
I'm gonna put syrup on your peck. That's ectoplasm. Bitch, get out of here. But
that's good.
yeah, hey man, if it tastes all right, I'll eat it.
Nice and sweet.
Yeah, I was looking forward to this movie because I remember seeing the video with Guillermo del Toro, and he's like, I wanted to make this because it's the first movie to really scare the shit out of me. Because it's based on a short film.
Doesn't he say that about everything?
He does, doesn't he?
Along with all 100 of his projects that he has in the works.
I'm in a real Hellboy. It scared the shit out of me.
What? Like, I don't know what the Spanish word for hyperbolic is, but it must be Guillermo del Toro.
I got it. It's hyperbolical.
that magical O at the end of it.
Is there any movie that he hasn't said, yeah, I'm making it? I think he's making everything.
He's making
now.
everything, and it's going to scare the shit out of you,
You know
and
what
him
they
and
said
everybody
that
else.
he's not doing one of the new Star Wars films? Well, that was taken out of context. What he said was, I'm doing all.
He's gonna, I remember seeing the prequels, and they scared the shit out of me. Well, they did everybody, man.
I can see him with a marker putting his name on every goddamn poster there's in the movie theater.
That fool was at Comic-Con, came up and told everybody about 2 or 3 years ago, guess what? I'm making the Haunted Mansion. And we ain't seen that shit yet.
You know what? I'm just as well that we don't see that.
Oh,
You remember the last Haunted Mansion?
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Well, this
Eddie
was no
Murphy.
Eddie Murphy.
Okay.
Well, it seems like all his damn horror movies recently, the ones he's produced, they've all been Haunted Mansion stories practically.
Pretty
Well,
much.
he loves a ghost story,
Yeah.
and he loves dark fantasy type stuff like dark mythology.
Oh, yeah.
And this is not a film he directed, mind you. It's an adaptation of a short story by one of his Spanish buddies.
Little cronies.
Yeah, what's it? Is it Andres Muschietti? Muschietti.
Yeah, I had a bowl of that today, man. It's good with some Alfredo sauce on
Man,
it.
I tell you what, man, you put it on some bow tie pasta. Manto Blanco.
I had a bowl of that. It scared the shit out of me. No, but
I thought he just hired. I thought he hired his lawn guy to finally make a movie.
probably did, for all we know.
I mean, with these ghost movies, though, he's tended to like produce other people's stuff.
Yeah.
He's like, man, I love ghost movies, and they haven't all been successes. To be fair, I mean, I thought The Orphanage was really good. I enjoyed the crap out of that, and I think Mama is the latest of those with him. Like, here's a ghost story that goes a little bit different from other stuff, but yeah, we're also going to do a lot of the other stuff we've seen 100 times before.
Yeah. Now this story involves 2 little girls, the result of a tragedy. Her parents met some untimely, very, 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 very sad death, and they're out in the woods with nobody to raise them. Or is there? It's not until their uncle requests that they be found. He's put all his money into searching for them and have them brought back. They are miraculous.
It's important to note that he's an artist, so he ain't even got no money.
He ain't got no money anyway. Shit, that money be gone in half a day.
He's in there drawing pictures.
You should have seen Leon in the movie when the guy's like going, "Yeah, you're just a guy who draws pictures. What are you going to do?" And Leon's like, "Humph."
Leon's like, fuck you. But you're right.
That's exactly what I thought.
He's like, you're lucky I got my girlfriend over here, Jessica Chastain, with her and her punk band, Zero Dark 30.
Hey, we're going to make it because my girlfriend is a 35-year-old punk rocker.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
She ain't never given up that dream.
That's the thing. That dude ain't got no money. The best they can do to help him find his kids, he had enough money to go and buy a milk carton, look on the back of it. You see? Well, we don't see your kids back here, so that's all the money you got. Well, you got some milk. Look on the bright side. Got some cereal? No. But they miraculously find the little girls, 2 little girls, and this is after 5 years. How they survived in the woods, no one knows. But when they're brought back to the house, they're feral. I mean, they are animals. They move like animals. They run around like animals.
They look like kind of like when dogs take shits on themselves, and you got that furry clunk of shit that's walking around with a piece of with like a leaf in it. That's what they look like with legs.
I know exactly what you're saying.
You're looking at dog butts too much.
I know. That's
real shit.
That's a great description. The girls look like dirty dog assholes.
Yeah. Who obviously love Spider-Man.
Yeah. They look like the smudge that the dog leaves after he gets you wiping his ass on the carpet.
I hope for the future when they grow up and they start dating, the dad didn't take pictures of them like that. So when the boyfriend comes in, oh, come on, let's see a slideshow.
I kept waiting for the 2 little girls to have their asses stuck together at some point. You got to get out the water hose.
But these girls, they one of them still has sort of
some sense,
some cognitive skills of language that she can use. The other little girl, she's gone.
She's gone. Yeah.
That little girl. Shit. If I had, they tried to get him to the uncle and his girlfriend. It bears to mention that it's Nikolaj Coster-Waldau who plays Jaime Lannister on Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see him be a good guy because he was about to get an ass whooping from me because I hate that character on Game of Thrones. But he's a nice guy. So nice that he's taking these kids in. Because if they had brought those girls to me, I said, the best I could do is take them by PetSmart, get them some kibble and a dog toy, and take those motherfuckers to the Humane Society because they ain't coming in here.
Well, one of the points of interest is that is his girlfriend's attitude. Jessica Chastain is just like, okay, you're my boyfriend. I know this is the right thing to do, but goddamn, fuck these kids.
Oh yeah, there's a part in the movie where one of the little girls, the crazy one, keeps on like jumping into boxes. I'm like, girl, you better watch out because you're gonna hear that tape go over that box, and that chick's gonna go, hey, if it fits, it ships. So ship her ass off to Australia.
You know what I thought they were gonna do?
Yeah, you like peanuts? Here's a whole bunch of shipping peanuts.
I thought she was actually gonna pull her camera out and film her jumping in out of that box like that cat on YouTube.
Oh yeah,
post that shit. But the kids look like they're doing all right. They're making slow progress, especially with the older sister being not crazy. But if it just weren't for that mysterious mama who is some entity that's around, is she real or not? No one knows, but these 2 little girls could see him. Of course, these 2 little girls, everybody's saying, well, they just made that shit up because they needed to have some parental figure out there.
We know there's something.
But there is something going on because shit, it knocks the uncle out the first day they move in.
If I may, Corey, you skipped an important plot point.
What's that?
The fact is that they go see a psychiatrist who says, like, now look, I can set you guys up with custody of the kids, but you have to sign this piece of paper that says you're going to live in this Scooby-Doo house.
So we're going to put you in Amityville.
And I was just like,
that's what it looked like.
Where the hell did this come from?
Amityville house.
When did they decide to set this up where you have to live in this house right here where I can come and interview these
kids?
They're
saying it was a house that was like belongs to the state that they use for like situations that need intervention.
Yeah.
You know, so they can use those. And that's fine. I mean, it's a kind of a creepy looking place. And it has way too many doors. How many people are supposed to live in this fucking place?
Yeah, I don't know how the state has enough money to have a mansion that just for people who are too broke to take care of their kids.
Mama needs an office too.
because we forget that not only are these kids moving in, Mama's moving in as well. Like,
Mama needs a ghost cave.
Like you have a mother-in-law plan.
Early on, the doctor's kind of figuring out something is going on past what he's used to. He doesn't really believe in the paranormal, but he knows something weird is happening.
Yeah.
Which is, so it establishes that in the beginning, and so you're like, okay, you can understand why he wants to spend more time with this case. And plus, there are so few examples of like finding feral children out in the wild. When that has happened, they do tend to put them in like someplace they can watch them real carefully. And
how often does that happen?
Like a cage.
It has happened, and when it has, they're like, wow.
Look at Mel Gibson.
Well, they learn a lot about
a feral kid.
What's that? They learn a lot about human development in those situations when that happens. So don't you remember, Corey? Come on.
I was wild and I was raised in a house.
I was raised by baboons, apparently.
The way those kids acted in that movie, that's how I was when I was 5, but that was called sugar.
And you're like, Mrs. Butterworth, I love you.
Corey, please sit down. But, man, I agree with you. I think that, and I don't know if I'm the right person to put this out there. I wasn't scared of this movie. I didn't find it frightening at all, except for maybe 2 or 3 parts in the middle that actually creep me out.
Well, there were a couple the jump scare, like ghost stuff that actually did work. That made me go, okay, nothing, I'm fine. I was like, okay. And the whole thing had a general sense of this is creepy, but it kind of plays its hand early enough with showing you Mama and like, you know, what she looks like. And the fact that she is a CG creation, of course, in some ways that took away from it, but like they do a lot of close-up actual practical work with her in her hands too that I thought really did work.
Yeah, it was moments like that got me, and not so much, you know, the typical, you know, the camera moving back and forth going, oh, there's something there, moving back, oh, it's not there anymore, because there was a lot of that. But I liked the way the mama looked, the character looked, the way they did. I thought it was effective. But the thing is, it was one of those problems where they kept showing you over and over, and because of that, it started to lose its effectiveness.
You started to see the seams in the CG.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, man. I kept looking at her like, wow, this is like Casper the cock blocking ghost. So she kept coming up at the wrong time. It was like a time when they were about to fuck and she comes up. It's like, what was that? Oh, well, we'll forget it now. No, wait,
That
come
was
back.
Jessica Chastain looking like a punk chick. Are you crazy? She was going to take her shirt off.
Yeah.
I kept thinking it was like the entity of Angelina Jolie just not wanting to give up grabbing the
No, 'cause she
fucking
was
kids
skinny,
for her
boy.
collection. Yeah,
Well, the
it
thing
was
is,
crazy looking.
You know what? I realized like watching this, like, man, I just don't like ghost movies. I mean, there's like maybe 2 that I like
you
Poltergeist and Paranormal. No, I wasn't scared. there was nothing scary in it.
Wait, didn't you love Haunted House?
Yeah, I was so scared. I was so scared I was gonna snow and wake everybody up. But like
Like when you got mad, fuck no, I wasn't scared.
but what just bugs me in all these ghost movies, like, man, a ghost just can't get to the fucking point. They love to fuck around and stick their heads out and do jump scares. But I'm like, are you malevolent or not? Do you have powers or not? It seemed like you can only just move shit and try to scare people. And then later, when it does have all this power and it's so deadly, I was like, well, why didn't you lead with that? I mean, if you had an agenda, I'm just saying, if you had an agenda, make it known. Why are you fucking around for 2 hours?
Understand is when you die, you come back kind of retarded. Okay, that's kind of how this
definitely
works.
looked
I mean,
it.
they're all like supposed to be the personification of whatever angry emotion or whatever. They even say in the film, it's like a body when it falls down and it's left in nature, it gets all twisted and desiccated. A ghost is an emotion that's become all twisted and desiccated. It was like, okay, it's a retarded emotion.
Well, Mama
didn't know what the fuck she's doing.
Mama did look like she was dropping her head one too many goddamn times. I mean, just looking at it. But I mean, I agree with you, Leon. My problem with the movie is that, yes, it does take its sweet ass time.
Yes.
Like, it is a slow burn of a movie. And sure, once, you know, some of the scenes are effective enough, you're still wondering, okay, when is this story going to honestly start to move forward involving these kids and everything? I'm kind of done with, like, oh, what's hiding behind the corner there? Because there's a lot of that. And just another thing that bothered me was kind of like the logic of the movie itself. Like, when you realize that this car goes off the road with these kids, it's not that far, you know. At least the movie gives you the impression that the cabin in the woods, which, by the way, stay the fuck away from cabin in the fucking woods, all right?
Yeah,
just
that's
not a
not
good
your
place
house.
to hang out.
Don't
and
go
hide.
in there.
Yeah, just stay the fuck away.
We can't. We're genetically incapable of not opening the door.
Especially when it looks like the fucking Evil Dead house. I mean, it's like, come on, guys, we all seen that movie.
Who the fuck was living out there?
I know, yeah, because that's the problem. That's the problem. It's like, okay, there's this patch of woods, this car that crashes. It's like it didn't seem like this house was like way the fuck out on the goddamn planet Endor in the fucking Ewok forest. I mean, it was like practically right there, and it didn't make any sense to me why. You know, how come cops didn't find this place early on? Why did it take them 5 years
to find that
especially
place?
when obviously there's an address with a name on the
It's
house.
right on the side of the road.
Yeah.
And second of all, the backstory of this, I'm not going to ruin anything. I'm just going to say there's a backstory that's connected to this ghost that takes place in the 1800s. But the house that the ghost is hunting looks like it was decorated in 1965.
Well, or 1972. It had like one of those Art Deco type chairs.
Chairs and clocks and shit. I'm
Yeah, like it was furnished by Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah, it really was.
it was.
There was
Yeah.
piles of UPS packages addressed to me.
I know.
That's where they are.
Yeah, that house didn't make any sense.
It didn't, and that's kind of what threw me out of the believability of this whole story. I mean, sure, I understand. You know, I did let that go at some point, but it still baffled me how, I mean, just they couldn't put all these pieces of this puzzle together a whole lot sooner. You know?
I agree. There are a lot of flaws here, and that's no question. That's the biggest one. You're like, wait, what? That doesn't even make. Why? If she was like 1800s, why is there stuff from the 70s decorating this stuff?
Exactly.
Hey, you know, I stuck around for a while. I haunted disco.
I know. What's up with these platform shoes hanging out here?
That would have killed anybody.
There's a disco ball in the closet. What?
But you know, I as far as the slow burn, that doesn't bother me. It's a ghost movie. They're almost all slow burns. It's kind of the way it works. But that being said, while this story is going on and we're watching that type of ghost thing happen, we're watching this doctor investigating like the past, and you feel like that's going to come to a climax discovery that's going to make things even more darker and evil than they were before. But it never really does. It's just kind of the story kind of just parallel to the main one. And I kind of was disappointed with what they chose to do with that. What I did like was that the way that they wrapped up everything, and they kind of gave, like I started with saying, this sort of dark fantasy aspect mixed with the ghost story. I mean, I was kind of impressed with the decision they made with the way to end this film.
Really?
The decision I liked, but the way they did it, I was not digging.
No?
It was just too much.
I know. Yeah. It turned.
It just went a long way.
It seems like Guillermo del Toro came in at the last minute and tried to give the movie a lot more weight.
You know what it was?
And it wasn't.
It was a ghost movie that turned to Pan's Labyrinth.
Exactly. I mean,
I don't know if that
why
fit.
that's bad though.
it's not bad, but it
Because it
just
wasn't
kind
that
of
before.
Because it's
Yeah,
too.
it wasn't
For
there
me, it was
before.
just a very melodramatic way to end something that you're right was kind of drawn out. And my other problem with the movie moving slow is that it feels like, I agree with you, Cyrus, that some parts of it, when it moves slow, they are trying to build tension, but there are other parts that were just used for jump scares for no reason but to just do a cheap jump scare.
There was too many of them.
There's a point where the ghost comes behind Jessica Chastain. It's not even effective because she's not even looking that way.
We were laughing about that, and we're like, "Oh, you just got some shit on your shoulder."
Yeah, like, why'd you even do that? He goes up like, that's just a waste of time.
I knew the camera was there.
It was the equivalent of when somebody's talking and you come up behind them and you start making faces and putting bunny ears behind them.
But that's the thing.
Just to make the two kids laugh.
It was
and then as soon as the
supposed
person
to-
turns around, you disappear.
It was supposed to scare the audience,
Right.
That's why. But
Yeah.
It looked like-
that's why it was cheap.
In
Because
that scene, the kids weren't even there. If
They
the
weren't
kids
even
had been
there.
there, and it was to make them laugh. That would have been like, okay, I understand.
But
Yeah,
you
it
just
was
said
one of
that
those, why did
it doesn't work within the story too well. You're just there to make the audience jump, and that's it. And it doesn't really fit the story too well.
It looked like she was getting a piggyback ride. I mean,
Pretty much.
You're just like, well,
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck that was all
Doing their
about.
Luke Skywalker Yoda impersonation. What's going on?
Ah, yeah.
It's one of those Casper the Ghost moments you turn around like, and your skeleton comes out and starts running down the street.
But I do like I just like this movie purely from a visual standpoint, because I thought the design of Mama was done very well until they start to just show her too much. It started out as a creepy effect that was in the shadows until they just somebody just said fuck it and just said, Mama, just quit hiding. Just go out
Mama
there.
demanded more fucking screen time.
Yeah. God damn, I'm
You
tired
get
of hiding
paid, get out there.
Yeah, she wasn't as scary when there was too much of her. Although I thought the whole effect of just her hair crawling around on the ground.
It was almost as if somebody said, hey,
I was waiting for somebody to come over with a vacuum cleaner. Just like,
I was expecting a theme from the Addams Family to play.
yeah, like somebody came up and said, Mama, we spent a fuckload of money on you. You better get the fuck out that closet and get out there and show yourself. We ain't spent all this time and money on you to hide in the shadows.
I'm here to make you a star, Mama.
Bitch, get out there and give me my money.
Dance for that camera.
But because when she was in the shadows, it was creepy. She had those long limbs. The way her eyes glowed and that hair. I mean, it was scary.
It was real effective.
But once she's out in the open, it looks like something. It looks like a comedic effect out of Ghostbusters. But the thing that I found really disturbing were the kids when they found them. First of all, the kids when they found them, they're CG effects. You can see them in the trailer.
Yeah,
they
because
look,
they're supposed to be really, really skinny.
yeah, they look like Gollum rolled in shit. But
Yes.
but then the actors, the actresses, I thought that they were really good.
They were.
I'm looking at the names right here. Megan Charpentier is the oldest sister, Victoria. The little sister, Isabel Nalise, is Lily. And the way she had to, that girl can't be any more than 6 years old, 7 years
Probably.
old.
She's moving around like a crazy fucking.
The way they had her moving
creature.
like an animal, I said, this girl is talented.
I
man.
thought she was scarier than fucking Mama. I mean, throughout
did
the
too.
entire movie,
Yeah,
I
I
was like,
thought the
there's
kids were scarier
something
than
really creepy about this chick, and just the fact that they're getting this performance out of her is amazing because she's more effective than that ghost sometimes.
I said either this girl is an amazing actress they put some shit in her juice box. Because the way she was moving, like somebody doped her, man. She's tripping.
Was she ever on the fucking Tiara show?
I know, because I can't tell you how many parties I went to when I moved like that. But I got an excuse.
It's her go-go juice.
She's just honey boo.
Yeah, I was on it. Somebody gave that kid some LSD or something.
That ain't Sunny D in that.
Unless that's the street name for it. But that kid was I thought she was amazing.
She was.
I thought
she
that
really
kid was amazing through the whole
Both
movie.
of those
man.
kids, the chemistry between those kids is what really works, and it's what really gives the movie like the strength of those characters. And I mean, sure, Jessica Chastain, it is her movie, but I mean, just every time she showed up on screen, there's moments where I started not to like her character halfway through, because it didn't seem like she was concerned enough. Yet there were other scenes where all of a sudden she's really concerned. So that kind of back and forth flip flopping about how she's supposed to feel towards these kids kept confusing.
Well, see,
me.
I actually liked that because they were going with the maternal story to parallel the story of Mama, what was going on there, and that ghost haunting thing. Because when it starts off, she flats out tells the screen, "I don't fucking want kids. I don't even like kids."
Hey, girls.
Hey. Come here. No, don't call me that. I'm not your mom. I'm Annabelle. You can call me that. Or Annie, or whatever you'd like. We could work it out together, right?
As the movie goes on, she gets more mad because she's put in this situation. Well, shit, I gotta take care of these kids all by myself. This is bullshit.
Yes,
And you can't really blame her under the circumstances. But as it goes along, you start to see both her and the kids start to form an attachment, which in and of itself is kind of scary because the kids are like, Mama gets a little jealous.
Yeah, but I like what it was going for. Everything you just said, like I recognize that. But I was with co-hosts where I'm like, man, she's kind of a bitch.
Yeah,
and I realized, okay, that's the point. And she's warming up to the kids. And I was like, but it's not focusing on that enough where it's selling me to where I'm emotionally getting into it.
I thought they could have put more emotion in there on that part. And that's the other part about the movie is that during the earlier parts, I don't think it was really that strong in character. I definitely think it was weak in dialogue. I thought dialogue was actually pretty bad.
I'm with you on that.
What Nicholas Coster Waldo. I mean, it's a good thing that he played a double role of twin brothers because he had barely anything to do the rest of the movie.
That ghost knocked his ass out the movie early on.
It's almost like somebody, like the ghost came and said, like, "You're not working out."
Just like whatever, I found Jessica Chastain's character much more layered and interesting. With him, like when it starts off and he's like, "No, I'm taking the kids." I'm like, dude, why don't you give them to the aunt with lots of money who really wants to take them? I mean, she's just as much as related to them as you are.
Except he's the one who spent all his money trying to find them.
Exactly. Yeah, she seemed like just a crazy bitch.
I'm about to get my investment back here.
I mean, we saw that. Like, we saw her character. She looked like she had a goddamn ghost up her ass the whole time. And I'm just like, you don't want these kids hanging out with that bitch.
And actually did at one point.
She looked like a demon herself.
But you're right, though. The Jamie Lannister guy, I mean, there was so much to him.
Did you notice his accent came out every now and then?
Yeah.
He
was trying. He was trying.
It made me wonder if maybe that's why they took the focus off of him because it's like, you're not doing the accent right.
Mama, come here, kick this. No, you can't get his accent
Slap
right.
the shit out of his face to get that accent away from him.
Speaking of Mama, which we have been this whole review, she, as much as I'm saying that CG effect kind of lost its eerie effect. I will say for a CG effect, that was the most sympathetic character in the movie. I actually felt that's what I like about this movie. It was very scary because of that character, but it was also very sad because of that character.
Oh, for real? I was going, man, fuck Mama.
Yeah.
Oh, man, come on.
She had her time.
Come on, man.
Well, I mean,
Look.
once again, in the context of ghost films, you're like, okay, they go into the whole, this is a ghost that has a reason that they're ghosts. They're not just some evil person who's hanging around to be evil and continue to be a dick. There's something tying them to the earth. So they tie in a bit of that mystery. When you find out, like, what it is, you're like, okay, you get, in that sense that ghosts are kind of retarded and don't really know what's going on. You're like, well, you can't can't help but have some sympathy there. I mean, tell she's been raising these kids for 5 years. She ain't getting no checks from the government or anything. You know? She's got to feed them cherries. I mean, come on.
Get no government assistance.
Being a single mom is hard enough. But being a dead single mom? Come on. Just tell me you're not going to feel for her.
I'm sorry. No, I couldn't. Yeah, I mean,
that is true. Man, I'm with you on that.
She's just too fucking ugly for me.
Oh,
Shit
man,
about it. I'm
see, why
sorry.
you so shallow,
I'm
man?
like, she ain't no piece of ass. Fuck that shit.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Let her go haunt somebody else's ass.
Let her hunt a sandwich or something.
She's been haunting people her whole life.
Man, I do like this movie. I think that is. I don't think, like I said, I don't think it's scary, but I don't get scared by movies. But before I get my rating, I will say that there's that's the thing about Mama, but I feel sorry for her, but she gave plenty of ghost beat down this movie. She beat the fuck out of people every night.
She's pulling like fucking WWE moves on people.
But like I said, I wasn't frightened by this except for a few things. There is one part in the movie in the middle of it where the ghosts, the image of them don't scare me too much unless they make that noise where it sounds like they're yawning and stop. Yeah, that shit scares the fuck out of me. If you don't want to scare me, don't jump out and scare me. For one thing, I'm gonna knock the shit out of you do. But the other thing is just hide in a closet somewhere and make that noise. I'm
sure you punch it
right the fuck out.
I'm sure you punch out every goddamn creaky door you have.
I do. I got so many holes in my door. Man, just get some DW4. I know, right? I'll cost money. I'd rather punch my door.
Got splinters all up in your
fuck off,
knuckles.
Busted them. I ain't afraid no ghost. Yeah, there's a scene in here where you hear that noise and there's a guy who's well, I'm not gonna ruin it. There's a part in the dark. Somebody's using a flashlight to try to find this spirit.
That's a nice scene.
And that scene is scary as shit.
Not a flash camera.
Yeah.
Which we've seen before, but I thought it was better than when I've seen it before.
Yeah, it was like that scene in Rear Window, except the ghost is after your ass.
It reminded me of
your neighbor, your psychotic neighbor across the street.
It reminded me of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It didn't have that.
And if you make that noise, I'm punching the door. The door would be like, man, I didn't even make that noise. I don't give a fuck.
But I just wish I wish like that character, I wish that motherfucker learned how to turn on a goddamn light. I don't know how many times he entered rooms, and I caught this. I was like, how come he's in a goddamn dark room all the time?
If you go into the woods with a flashlight, bring some fresh batteries. That's another cliche.
Or go during the goddamn day.
Daytime, yeah. How about this? Don't go at all. Leave shit alone.
That's the thing with me. At that
Bring
point,
a gun.
At the point he's going out, the point he's going out there, he believes in the supernatural, like 100%. He's like, okay, I believe in it. And it's like, all right, so let's start heading out around 5 p.m.
with a map that I can barely see and a goddamn compass that barely works.
A PhD doesn't mean you're smart. It just means you like going to school.
Yeah.
Here's what I'm gonna do. It's 5 o'clock. I'm gonna cut my flashlight on. Just leave it on. I'm not gonna get any fresh batteries. I'm gonna wait until midnight to get there.
I know.
Not gonna bring anybody with me.
He's the only motherfucker that still can't figure out how to use a map on goddamn iPhone.
I'm gonna leave that holy water in the cabinet. I'm not gonna call a priest to come with me. I'm just gonna go by myself
too, because that's as part of the essential plot that plays out in the end, where he's like, I know what you want, and you're like, okay, well then why didn't you fucking bring it with you?
Yeah, exactly. Hey, no wonder you got your ass beat down. Ghost is even like, well, bitch, why don't you bring it?
Yeah, that was a weird thing. At least a weird placement on the like, okay, this is the thing you need. Here, take it. Yes, I will take it. And I will put it away for the next hour of the movie.
There's a lot of things that go in this movie that are a lot of plot holes. As with a lot of ghost stories, there's just ghost stories are the same way with time travel with me. There's a lot of things that just don't tie together too well sometimes. I think for certain ghost stories to really work, for me, you want to know what scares me? It's not things that over-explain stuff. I don't even think they needed the whole intro of this movie. I think it would have been creepier had they just jumped back in it and gave hints of what happened. Mystery is what scares me. I think this movie showed too much. But what they did show me was cool looking. A lot of cool CG effects, a lot of cool flashback sequences, dream sequences, a lot of scary images here and there. Just didn't frighten me overall. And I don't think it's a movie that even captivated me emotionally. I think it's pretty. That's about it. But enough eerie stuff in there and I think it was well directed enough in certain scenes where they were truly scary enough to give it a matinee.
Well, I wish I could have been as impressed with it as you were. I mean, there was a bit that was creepy in the beginning when they first find the kids. That was probably like the most I got creeped out or scared. And the rest was just going through a lot of the motions that I see in ghost stories. Matter of fact, for me, like, I think Guillermo del Toro can make a great ghost story movie. but the ones he produces, they all kind of just come out about the same. Like watching this, I felt like I was watching Don't Be Afraid of the Dark. It's like it's that same kind of like flatline emotion, jump scares. Like the creature, is it ever going to get to its point? What's taking so long? I was like, for me, I was like, man, I left home my light up red box where I would have pushed that button saying, wrap this shit up, B, wrap it up. And the characters just weren't written well enough to bring me along, and so I was just like, God, could we get to it? And the end just was just so melodramatic. I was like, I was hoping this would be the place where it would come together for me, and it's not doing it. I recognize things that are good about it, but for me, it just really comes in at a rental.
I can't help but disagree with you on almost everything you just said, but still, I can agree that this film is definitely flawed. It's uneven. You see too much of the ghost early on, whereas they should have waited to play it out more towards the end. However, I think that I didn't have a problem in the very end at all. I loved the very end. I think it was the strongest part of the whole thing. And I think by that point, they were kind of like, you see so much of the ghost there. It's basically like a Pan's Labyrinth character, like you were saying. In fact, even the eye shape was right out of Pan's Labyrinth. That was like from the poster thing with the elk horns from Pan's Labyrinth.
Oh, yeah. I thought it was out of being inbred myself.
Exactly. I think it's a sister
She's been fucking
of that
elk.
thing from Pan's Labyrinth. But yeah, I actually like the way they built the characters in here. I thought those elements worked for me. I liked the Jessica Chastain story. I didn't think she was unlikable. I thought she was, right from the beginning, she told you who she was. I was like, look, there's nothing wrong with being that person. She didn't want to be in that situation. It was a shitty situation to be in. But as it came along, she slowly warmed to it. And I actually identified with her much more than I did with Jamie Lannister, who was, like I said, just kind of barely a character in here, really. There aren't that many scary moments, but there were a lot of hair on the back of your neck raising just a little bit moments. And I like that. That's what I go to ghost movies for. I don't go to be terrified. I go just to feel kind of vaguely creeped out the whole time because I like that feeling. I think this is a little more inventive than most of these that we see coming out. I mean, most of these are just CG fests of the cheesiest, worst shit that are all the same boring ass story. And this one actually having the idea of a ghost with a maternal issues was kind of interesting to me. I'm going to give this a high matinee. I did enjoy it, but there are so many points there that you're like, man, if you just paid a little more attention to the script, you could have fixed some pretty big problems.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just saw too many problems with the whole logic of the film itself. Even though I thought the performances were amazing by the two little kids, I liked the look of the ghost. But the thing is that there's just too much of everything else that I've seen in so many other movies that it's on the line of cliche. And, sure, the film, the directing of it, was great, but it still didn't move me the way I was hoping it would. And you're right. These movies aren't good unless Guillermo del Toro is directing them, period. So this ends up being just like another one of his other, produced movies where, the ideas are always great, the visuals are always great, the whole mythology that they want to, bring to the table is great, yet they never manifest the way they should with these movies sometimes for me. So yeah, I have to give it a rental. I can only imagine that, maybe, they'll do something else with this, especially with Jamie Lannister. I mean, yeah, I'm looking for
Jamie Lannister. I like the way he has become Jamie Lannister.
It's so much easier. Yeah.
You made him become that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we'll get to see him actually see his real acting chops in Papa.
I kept thinking about like the Queen song during this because it would have been perfect. It was like because you can change it just a little bit and it would have fit it perfectly with Mama. Ooh.
Damn. Oh boy!
Damn it! Your fingers were already there. I was like, hit the button, hit the button,
pull the string.
For that joke, I'm gonna tell Mama. She ain't gonna like that.
Oh God, that's even worse. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, thank you.
You took it to a whole nother level.
Oh, please, no, it's not. Get that. Bye, y'all.
Like that?
I'd like you to tell me about Mama.
No. What's wrong? I don't want you to get hurt. Nothing bad's gonna happen to me. You can't do that.